Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
So, I watched The Lobster recently. We were gonna watch that together, and because we saw the trailer when we went to go see Green Room.
Yeah.
And it was, if for those of you who don't know, The Lobster is a very interesting movie, to say the least. The trailer just kind of like sucked me in when I saw it, because it's like this. It's just this guy, and I guess he goes to like some. This is what I was thinking when I saw the trailer. I'll actually explain the plot when I get to it. But like, there's this guy, and he's sitting there talking to some people, and they're asking him, well, you know, what would you like to be should you not find love here? And his response is a lobster. And I don't know why that like got me into it, but for some reason I was just like, I want to know what this movie is. Because it has, it stars Colin Farrell, Rachel Weisz, and John C. Reilly, which is interesting because those aren't necessarily people that I would picture doing a movie together.
No, I mean, it is a comedy, right?
Kinda. Yes and no. Okay, so basically...
Yeah, explain the story
plot.
so,
Okay.
yeah, the listeners can get an idea.
It took me a while for it to sink in, but this movie does take place in like a dystopian near future, where essentially the way that things work is if you want to be a part of society, you have to be with someone.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like, you have to be in a committed relationship if you want to be a part of the general society. Okay. And if not, you're considered a loner and you're left out in the wild to fend for yourself. And they actually do have like daily hunts where they hunt down these loners, and I know, because it sounds like phoner. I fucking hate you. They hunt down these loners and they bring them back, and the whole purpose is if you can't find love and you're caught, you know, out in the wild, they turn you into an animal. So, you know, you go to this resort and you're there for 45 days, and in that time, you know, you go on your daily hunts. If you catch someone, you know, if you catch one of the loners out in the wild, then for each loner that you take down, they give you an extra day. Because, you know, you have a time limit to find the love of your life at this resort.
That's actually a cool idea.
It's a really interesting premise. The only thing is, it's not that there's anything wrong with the execution, and it's not that there's anything wrong with the acting. It's intentional that everybody in this society, and I think that this is kind of like an allegory for where we're headed as a society, and I'm not trying to, like, you know, to like say, oh, you know, we're doomed as a society or anything. It's not that kind of show. All I'm saying is that I think that what the director, who's I can't remember his name. Yeah,
I have it right here.
Yorgos Lanthimos. I think what the director because he wrote the movie too.
He did? Let me see.
Get
that. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what he was trying to get across is that, like, you know, people spend too much time, you know, not really interacting with each other anymore.
That's true.
And
That's true.
This could be a potential result of that, because everybody in this movie obviously has very big social anxiety and social issues. People can't relate to each other.
Right.
They're basically all high functioning sociopaths.
So it's kind of reminding me of Her.
Yeah, but on a larger scale. But okay. Everybody in this movie is Joaquin Phoenix and Her.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so that
exactly. So that's why I keep saying, like, when you asked me earlier, how's the movie, and the only way I could describe it is weird.
Yeah.
That's the only and best word I can use to describe it. It's not that the movie's bad. It definitely brings forth a lot of interesting ideas and topics, but it's just fucking weird because these people don't know how to interact or talk to each other
because of them being separate all the time, right? So that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
That is, I think that's a. I love indie movies like this too.
Exactly.
I guess we can consider it an indie movie.
It's definitely an indie movie.
Yeah,
It's A24. Dude, do
you remember the budget for it?
I didn't actually look into the budget, but let me just tell you that this movie has one of the longest, not opening scenes, but like, you know how like you start the movie and before the movie actually gets going, they show like, you know, a so-and-so production in association with... That shit lasted like 5 minutes. There's so many hands in this movie. Like, too many cooks in the kitchen on this one.
$4 million budget.
Shit. Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
And right now it made, I'm guessing here, it made $12.5 million at the moment.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, for an indie movie, it's pretty decent. I like the really obscure indie movies as much as I like the blockbusters, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Like, it's okay, I'm gonna start off right off the bat and say that this is a good movie.
Okay.
But
is it for everybody or is it... No.
I can't.
Okay.
It's a good movie, but I cannot recommend it to...
Who would you recommend it to?
I can't think of like what kind of audience.
Do you think I'll like it?
Yeah, you'll probably like it.
Okay.
But
are you saying that I'm weird?
Maybe. What I'm saying is that this movie, like, when it ended, and I'll get to that because I don't want to like spoil it right off the bat. But like when it ended, I kind of just sat like looking at my TV for a little while, and I was just like, what did I just watch? It's one of those movies. Like, it's not like a what did I just watch, like, that was so bad. Like, what did I just watch? Like, it made me really like introspective, and like, and it gave me a lot of time to just think about the movie. Mm-hmm. You know, because I've been thinking about it for like the past 2 days of like what I got out of it and what I thought it was about. So it's definitely a thought-provoking movie. It's definitely, you know, the type of movie that'll make you think and really come to terms with where we are as a society now.
So it's basically a would you consider it like a satire of now?
I wouldn't say a
like
satire.
This seems like something South Park would come up with.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Except it would be funnier.
Oh yeah.
Like, so that's not to say that this movie doesn't have humor. It definitely does, but like there are some really dark moments because Colin Farrell's character, he's the main character.
How was he in this?
Good for what, you know, like I said, he had very glaring social issues, so it was hard to really gauge his performance because although it was, you know, intentional, it just made me feel really awkward watching it. So I guess technically he did a really good job then, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
Because I felt awkward for him.
Okay.
But, you know, he comes to this resort and he's looking for love in honor of his brother who didn't make it and was turned into a dog. So he has his brother with him the whole time, but he's a dog. And
that's crazy.
And like
they don't talk or anything, right?
No, the animals don't talk.
God.
The animals don't talk at all. They just become straight up regular everyday.
Can you imagine if they talked? I wouldn't be able.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch the movie. I wouldn't watch that movie if the animals talked.
Good. I'm glad they, I'm glad he did that.
And
it doesn't seem like a movie that would do that, but I had to ask.
I was really interested in this movie because I really like Colin Farrell as an actor, and I really like Rachel Weisz, and I was wondering for a very long time, because she's in the trailers, I was wondering for a very long time when she was going to show up in the movie. She doesn't show up for like an hour 15 minutes into the movie. Wow. And it's like 2 hours.
Okay.
But when she does show up, it becomes really interesting. Like I said, I don't want to spoil the movie, so for those of you who are interested in seeing The Lobster, now is probably the time to tune out, but I will leave you with, you know, my final thoughts and rating of the movie now. I would give this movie a 7.
A 7?
Yeah, like a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay, a 7 out of 10. How about a letter grade as well?
Letter grade, I would say a C+, B-.
Okay, C+. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out, but like Like
it's
I
hard
said,
to find in the theater. It's hard to find a theater.
It's not. You're probably better off trying to watch it, on demand. I'm pretty sure.
VOD, it's on VOD.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where I guess they release it
simultaneously.
Yeah.
So if you can find it, on video on demand, if you got the money for it, that's probably your best bet. But
okay.
As far as spoilers go, because I do want to talk about the end. So here's your spoiler warning. I'm gonna discuss, some of the bigger things that happen in this movie. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Interestingly enough, about halfway through the movie, Colin Farrell's character, he lies to find love because it's just not happening for him, and he ends up with this fucking psychopath lady who has no feelings, and she realizes that he has feelings, because the way that it works is you have to find a common trait with this person, and that makes you guys compatible.
Okay.
So there's this girl that has she has chronic nosebleeds. Ugh. So this one guy, he really likes her and he wants to be with her, but he doesn't get nosebleeds, so he bangs his fucking nose on a wall or on a desk or something so that his nose will bleed too, so that they can be together. So Colin Farrell kind of does the same thing, and he acts like, he doesn't feel, so he can get with this lady because he's like, fuck, I only have 2 more days here. And she catches on to him and kills his brother. Just to...
The dog.
Right. So she beats his brother to death, and then she just walks up to him, I killed your brother. How does that make you feel? He's like, I don't feel anything. I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick and brush my teeth. And he goes in there and starts crying. And she catches him. And so, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's really dark, but I kind of found myself laughing a bit.
That actually sounds really good.
Yeah.
It actually sounds super interesting.
So, she goes to rat him out, and, he chases her down and, shoots her with a tranquilizer, because that's, the weapon that they give them to hunt the loners. So she shoots him, or he shoots her with the tranquilizer and drags her into the transformation room. And he's like, because I forgot to mention, there's constant narration throughout the whole movie, and it takes a while to catch on to who it is, but it's actually Rachel Weisz.
Okay.
So she technically is in the whole movie, but she doesn't show up physically until
right.
the back end of the movie. But apparently he turned her into something, and he refused to ever tell anybody what it was. So we never find out about that, but he leaves the resort and joins the loners out in the wild. And that's where he meets Rachel Weisz. And in the wild, you're not allowed to be with anyone. So they have their own code, and you're not allowed to be sexually attracted to people. You're not allowed to kiss anyone. You're not allowed to be in love. So him and Rachel Weisz end up falling in love with each other, and they find out that they're both nearsighted. So that's a really big thing in their society, because I said, you have to have something in common with each other. So it's oh, we're both nearsighted. So as the movie progresses, they're going on these random secret missions into the city where they pretend to be, citizens and couples or whatever. And I don't completely understand why, because it's never really explained. They just go. And they do it 4 or 5 times throughout the last 45 minutes of the movie. And the leader of the loners, this other woman, she catches on to the fact that Colin Farrell and Rachel Weisz are together, because they have this weird, it's not sign language, they signal to each other. And this was actually really funny, because they were explaining the signals in the narration. It's really funny, because they're like, oh, if you turn your head to the left, it means I love you, and if you turn your head to the right, it means we're in grave danger. It's really, and she even says, it's it took a while for us to get that one down pat, but if you make a fist and put it behind your back, it means I want to fuck. So, and she said it with the delivery was so dry and sincere. I was just it was hilarious to me. But because they have it's like they have Asperger's.
Okay.
They have no social awareness, so they're just doing these obvious signals in front of everyone, expecting no one to notice. So the leader catches on, and she blinds Rachel Weisz. Yeah, like just straight up takes her to get like a eye correction surgery or whatever, and tells the guy to just blind her.
Oof.
Yeah. So now her and Colin Farrell aren't compatible anymore, but they still love each other, and they staged a whole escape plan or whatever. And this is what really like left me feeling kind of empty. The movie has an ambiguous ending.
Oh shit.
So they get away. They're in the city, and Rachel Weisz is blind. They're sitting down, and Colin Farrell, he goes into the bathroom.
Does he cry again?
And he goes into the bathroom of the restaurant, and he's like, "I'll be right back." And it turns out he took a knife with him, and you just see him like pointing the knife at his eyes, but like he's really thinking about the decision. Like he brings the knife to his eye and puts it down, and he goes back and forth with it, and then it just comes back to Rachel Weisz sitting at the table by herself, and someone brings her like a refill on her coffee or whatever, and then the movie just ends.
Oh, okay.
So like, it has a really ambiguous ending. It's like, well, it's up to you. Did he blind himself for her, or did he leave her? So
yeah. You know what? I know he has to go to the transformation room to turn into the lobster. I thought like the waiter was gonna bring over a lobster or something.
that actually would have been pretty fucking funny.
Like it has like Colin Farrell's mustache and just looks up.
No, it doesn't. The animals don't take on any of the traits of the people, but it's just that would have been really fucking funny. I'd like to see that cut of the movie.
Yeah, right. Breaks its freaking claw.
Yeah. So, it's a very thought-provoking movie, but it's fucking weird, dude. It's like
it sounds weird, but I think it sounds like a movie I'd watch once and I'd be okay.
Yeah. I don't see myself ever watching it again, but
okay.
You know, I did enjoy my experience the more I thought about it afterwards. So, I don't know who to recommend this movie to, but if you feel so inclined, I don't think you would regret watching The Lobster.
Okay.